guys for joining me. I'm going to have Jackie Fawn on today, or Rez Days, as we think you would join us, and we'll get started. Hey, what's up? Sorry, I had to turn off my fan.
Oh, no, no worries. I'm in the car.
I didn't want that in the background when we do the editing later, so I just had to turn that off. How's your traveling? Are you all set at the hotel, ready to go?
We're good to go.
Hell yeah! I'm glad you made it safe. Yeah, we could have rescheduled if you wanted to, but I'm glad we're here. We're doing it. We're doing it. Yeah, in the car, we got it going.
Baby's in the room with her grandma, getting ready for bedtime. We're ready to pick up the hubby tomorrow morning. He's being released. Fuck the police in the state. Excuse me, I don't know if I can say those words.
You can say whatever you want to say. I love it.
Perfect.
No, I went on a like on a radio show recently, and the lady was like, "Yeah, I watched your podcast, and you say shit a lot." And I was like, "She was like, you can't say this on here," and I was like, "Oh, my bad," you know. But like, yeah, on here you can say whatever you want to say. But before we get started, I just want to do a little intro prayer that I usually do when we get started. So I just want to get that going, and then we'll get started on the questions.
Beautiful. Oh, the hubby's in the room, in the house.
Hey, all right. I want to send love to anybody out there that's struggling from mental health issues. I want to send love to anybody that's struggling from domestic violence issues. I want to send love to any of our ancestors that have passed on to the spirit realm. I want to send love to every single one of you for being here today, or watching, or listening in the future. I want to send love to our precious Mother Earth. I'm on Amamutsan territory right now here in Santa Cruz, California. And if you guys want to drop where you guys are at in the comments, that'd be dope. But yeah, today my guest is Jackie Fawn. So I'm an amazing guest today. So I just want to get you started and let you have an intro about yourself, and then we'll take it from there.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Fawn. I'm a Yurok Washo and Filipino artist. I'm from Klamath, California, from Yurok country. And yeah, I am living in upstate New York in Akwesasne in Mohawk territory. I met my husband, my current husband, in Standing Rock during the No Dapple occupation, and we weren't married then. We just met. So fell in love, fast forward, moved to his territory, had a beautiful baby who revolutionized my art more than anything else in the world. Next to Standing Rock, of course, because I mean that's how we met and got her here. So yeah, me and my family during COVID we opened Fish Bear Studios, our art space on the res, so it's pretty exciting that it's coming along. It was a little slow start, with a new baby and just figuring out what are we gonna do now, and just laying down roots on the res.
Hell yeah. And what res is that?
Akwesasne. If y'all ever come to Mohawk territory, it's a beautiful little res. It's awesome. They're so very supportive of the arts and just reclaiming culture. So come through.
And you guys have an Instagram too, right? Fish Bears.
Yeah, come check out our Instagram and Facebook. It's Fish Bear Studios because he's Bear Clan and I'm a salmon. So our little fish bear is our baby.
You know, it's funny.
And
Oh, go ahead.
hmm?
Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say something that I forgot.
We were texting back and forth. I was like, because the way you talk and stuff is like super Bay Area, and I was like, man, she's super Bay. Like, I wonder where she's from. And then you're like, Klamath, California, and then like me and my homie were talking like out in Mendocino County and up north. We're like really like influenced by like the Bay Area. I feel like, and like it's pretty like in these little cut areas of nowhere. It's a pretty ghetto spots out there, you know.
Yeah, so living in Klamath, it's in Crescent City, which is like the major town nearby. Like going back between there, just growing up in a small podunk area, it's very like isolating. It's a very ocean town. So like as soon as I turned 17, I was like, I'm out. I need to explore the world. I left home. I kicked it in Southern California, Ventura, Oxnard area for a long time. And then after that, I parted ways with Southern California. I was like, I don't know if this is my setting, my pace. I did a lot of time in Sacramento, living with my sister, making sandwiches. And then threw down in the Bay for a while. They welcomed me there. It was beautiful. The Bay Area has really changed my life with community and teaching. I always knew how to draw, I guess, but the Bay Area taught me what to draw. So I'm always honored for that and thankful for the Bay for teaching me what to draw.
So what was it that like got you first into painting or drawing or whatever it may have been first?
I feel like every time I'm asked that question, it's always changed, and it's always like a different answer because I'm like, well, it's always different, I guess. For at the time it's asked, what got me into art? I guess just being in a small town, like either you're gonna do something awesome or you're just gonna do drugs or get pregnant. And I was like, I guess I'm gonna draw, and I always call it drawing because everyone's like, she's an artiste. I'm like, oh, I drew it. I just draw because I
Yeah.
love, I love the way that the pencil snags and catches on paper. And I don't know, something about that is just like sensory, like satisfaction. So I'm always like, ooh, I think I love drawing over painting, over like just getting into canvas. And everyone's like, you should be a painter. I was like, I love to draw.
And that's cool. That's something that you were showing on your Instagram stories too, is like you draw it first and then you apply it to the iPad, right?
Yeah. So digital art like didn't come on until later in my life, until I was like 13, 14, when I first got my first drawing tablet and like using the pirated Photoshop. Don't come for me, Adobe. We all did it. Don't ask any 13-year-olds how they got Photoshop back in the day. Um, but yeah, I always drew on paper first because it's so easy to translate, and spatially, you already know the size of what you're working with. You don't got to zoom in, zoom out. And once you put it on paper, like I say, it's like concrete work. You can't just go back and erase it. I mean, you could do that digitally, but like for the skeleton, for like the base, the foundation, it's done. And so I just love drawing on paper. And it's tangible. Like that's the thing with digital art. I feel like in this day and age, it's like hard to get things tangible outside of print on demand companies. So I think it's awesome just to have like an original drawing, like, oh yeah, I did draw that.
Yeah, that's true. Because that's everything's super digital these days, and I'm trying to set my game up and just draw like or not draw. I can't draw a stick figure to save my life, but I'm trying to buy more paintings and more art and just put it up in my room, and definitely especially like native artists and stuff for
Hell
sure.
yeah. Hell yeah.
And once hopefully one day when we get the podcast studio, it'll be like one wall just be all native artists. So like that'll be something that's in the future for me, hopefully.
And I hope everyone has a native wall art. Like, oh, I love in our studio we have just one wall dedicated to like native art. That's like the content matter is all just family. So I'm like, yes, look, I get to walk in every day to the studio, see this beautiful arts of families coming up, native families coming up, made by native peoples. It's like that's how I want to start my day.
Absolutely, yeah. And it and honestly, right now my necklace collection is getting bigger than my art collection. My
Mm.
necklace and earring collection is getting huge, to be honest. And
Hell
also, like,
yeah.
I'm just like spending all my money on like necklaces and shirts by native artists, like and art. I mean, it's going to a good place. You know what I mean? Um,
And we should, because jewelry, native jewelry, I feel like is like it's just something, such an experience to be like, I get to wear this art and just feel so indigenously like empowered. Because it's such an art form to like keep carrying that traditional like jewelry making. I'm always stoked when I get a new necklace.
yeah, I don't know if you've seen Beads by Beans. Like she puts tutorials on how she does her like she does graduation hats or like just
Ooh.
regular like like dope hats. And it's crazy the amount of like beads that go into it and like the intricacy that you have to like go with. Like you said, it's like it's a traditional like passed down thing that it's crazy. I actually got one for my birthday. This one it's insane. Like the amount of like she said she finished that in 4 days. It's just like it's crazy the amount of like effort that goes into to making these necklaces and stuff. And people should like admire it as more of a luxury item, you know. But
Definitely. I'm always excited. I thought it was a luxury item my whole life.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Do you do any beadwork or anything, or just are you just drawing and stuff like that?
I do it socially. I bead with my mother and my friends, but I mean, no. I try because the idea is like, yeah, I can totally do it, and then I do it. I'm like, this is hard. A
You know,
different kind of hard where I'm like,
I tried to make a necklace and some earrings, but and I was just like I just grabbed like some string and stuff and then like put the beads on there. But my cousin's like, actually, if you wanted the beads to stay on there like for a long time and them to be secure, you have to like have like a certain technique you like go through. And I had no idea that like all that goes into it.
it's it's definitely a game of patience,
Yeah,
which is a different type of patience I don't know I have.
yeah, definitely. But which is crazy because like the art that you do, I feel like you have to have like some patience for that.
Definitely. I took a long time to perfect what I call my style. Well, other people call it my style, and I do really like a simple style. Throwback to like my anime days, my just. I love anime growing up. I thought it was so cool and revolutionary, especially when we got to start seeing it in the States. I was like, this is cool. So like my simplistic style, I guess, is an homage to that. But it's not really that simple. There's a lot of like underlayer build up, and so there is a lot of like craft building that you got to put into your work to make it look complete but simple at the same time. Whereas like my comic work for the project I'm working on, Res Days, is a lot simpler than my poster illustrations because poster illustration work takes anywhere from like 3 days to a week to complete based on like what my clients want and just changing every like small little detail. Whereas like Res Days is just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go in real resi, real rugged, just dirty it up. It's good to go. It looks good to me. Whereas like illustration work is way more polished and time consuming. So different vibes with different art. So it's cool. I like it.
I dig Res Days. I love that name. It takes me back to the Res Days, you know. And I like what you have in your bio. What is it? It says something. Our scars, our
Our hair,
traumas, and our
our scars, and ink hold medicine.
yeah. That's what it is. What it is. That's what it is. I love that. I love that intro. Yeah, let's talk about that. Like what the main focus of Res Days is.
Oh man, Res Days is just a big shit show. If anything, it's just people just trying to get by on the res, but just trying to do it in a good way. Just trying to move on from the past, but also live in the present while trying to make it to the future. Um, Originally, Res Days started as a 30 days indigenous as a way for my healing, and 30 days indigenous is like the 30 days Inktober, but instead I do it in November because I don't know why October is always so chaotic. Maybe it's just like because it's 31 days, not 30, a full day, a full rounded number. But 30 days indigenous happens in November, where every single day of November there's a daily prompt, and you just reflect on it. You can do whatever art, think about it, poetry, song, video, just a shout out to the universe. And it just like November's a great month. I feel like it's a harvesty season. Everyone's like coming into winter, just like it's just a nice transitional month. But there was a prompt on there, and I can't even remember what it was. But that was the first time I ever drew Star Woman and Moon the hero twin just going for the going down for the land, and they fall in love. And I was like, man, because at that time, me and my partner, my husband now, we're just going through things with addiction and just healing and the trauma from Standing Rock. Because I don't know, at Standing Rock, my friend said that we really got to see the best parts of everyone, like the best parts of ourselves, and it was beautiful. Like that was like the most purest interactions I've had with people, and it was like the ultimate convergence of like tribal nations coming together for the land. It wasn't the powwow vibes. It was like we're really out here just trying to like be like, yo, we're having these issues at our homelands too. We want to come support, and it was just so like moving. Like that changed my life forever. Like it changed my art and changed what I was gonna do. It introduced me to all the people that I can call family now, that I would trust with my life, that I invite to my homelands to come fuck up the dams that are destroying our rivers out there. But it was like the craziest experience. It was like the ultimate res ever. Like, oh, just walk down Flag Road, take a left, you're in Oglala camp. Go back this way, you're in the Dene camp. Go back this way, you're in California Kitchen where all the Cali natives are. And I was like, damn, this is crazy. And that was like the whole inspiration of Res Days. Because in that comic, there's not like a set res. It's just like, oh, I'm going to the res. Oh, you're going to go town? Let me catch a ride. Because that's like how we say it when we're in our own territories. You don't call it, oh, I'm going back to Klamath. Like, oh, no, can I catch a ride to the res with you?
And that's funny because
So that's what.
that's how it is on like going to
Yeah.
town. Can I get a ride to town?
Or like, oh, I'm going to the city later this week. Who all wants to come to the city with me? So those are like some major inspirations with Standing Rock and all the people I met there who shared their stories with me. And it's like they're just back on their res now, living their lives and having more versions of that story on just a different day.
That's amazing. How long were you out there for?
I got there in September after the dog attacks, and that was like real compelling because our salmon festival back in Klamath just ended, and everyone's like, "Are you gonna go to Standing Rock?" I was like, I guess so. Everyone's telling me I need to be out there. And I had a lot of homies out there, and they're like, just get out here. And I was like, okay. And they had art tents there, and people were screen printing, making art for people to go represent out there on the front lines, because art's really powerful when it comes to creative resistance. It really brings out, gosh, I don't even know how to say it without getting so deep and just very passionate, but creative resistance is so beautiful. It's one of the most empowering type of like form of art that I recommend to everyone to be engaged with, from wheat pasting to screen printing, just using art to create change. Um, but we were out there until winter, and pretty much until it ended. Me and my partner met out there in the winter, and then the camp that we were staying at started to break down. They're like, okay, we're going to break down the tiny homes. We're going to get ready to leave. It's time to go. And then we got posted up at a house where we were just like waiting to figure out how we were going to get home logistically. And then at that moment, the state came in and flattened Standing Rock and got rid of all the encampments and were arresting people. And the house we were staying at was like a post for everyone just to come rendezvous and figure out what was going to go next and how everyone was going to get home and like what was what's next. Camp was gone. And so it was just a wild experience that I was just like, damn. But yeah. And then we came back to the res and just trying to figure out like from that moment, like what happened? Like, damn, that's it. We just left and it was gone. It was just wild. But yeah.
Yeah, a couple of people that I've talked to like say the same thing. Is just like the experience out there was like like the community that was out there was it was amazing to be a part of. And they same thing they both said, well, they'll take that with them forever. Like the people that they met, the people that they stood on those front lines with, they'll take that forever, you know. And that's to hear those stories, to like be able to like, obviously it was like what you're out there for isn't what you want to be out there for. Having to stand up against like these pipelines going in, but like the to hear like your guys' stories is like the people you met is pretty amazing, you know, and the connections that are made is pretty amazing. And I wish we can create that without having to stand up against like pipelines and shit like that, you know what I mean?
hmm And that was like the hardest part in reality of coming back from Standing Rock was like, where do we go from here now? Because there's so many movements going on, and we're so spread thin because in comparison of natives left, like in ratio to like how many people that we're up against is really hard. We're so spread thin. Like working in native country is really like everyone knows each other. Everyone's related somehow. So I'm like, wow. But so that's where Res Days came from essentially with Standing Rock and everyone that inspired it. Like as the project keeps growing, you can start seeing all these like characteristics like, dang, that reminds me of my cousin. Like probably was.
No, that's so crazy you say that because like every like big time or wherever I go, like or something, even like in the people that I work with that are from like Mexico or like Oaxaca or like places like that, you know what I mean? I see resemblance in my cousins from the res and like stuff like that. I'm like, damn, that seems like this person or that person. And I dig that about res days too, because like everybody can just like everyone can relate to it, you know, like you said, it's like, oh, that's cousin Ed or cousin Will or whatever, you know what I mean? Whoever, you know what I mean? Just like whatever
Mm-hmm.
cousin that just reminds them of, and that's dope.
And I hope people feel like that. I think the coolest part about Res Day being in such early developmental stages is people writing to me like, hey, I know it's just a drawing with some captions right now, but I feel like you've been writing about my life for my whole life. I was like, oh, that's really amazing because I'm like, it's just so early developmental like stages and just getting these characters out of my head because the hardest part about it is that I know these characters so well that getting them out of my head onto paper and translating is such a different type of work. Because all my past work, my illustration work is very more collaborative and commission based. So I do get feedback and like they give me reference sourcing, whereas this is just all the memories from stories, from my friends, just certain things they do when we're hanging out. I'm like, that's totally what this character would have done and just building that up, it's been a wild experience.
That's dope. Man, I was gonna say something, but I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Um, yeah, Res Days is amazing. I definitely like support it. I want to keep watching it. Man, I completely lost my fucking train of thought. God damn it. I took a little edible before we started, and I'm like, it's just kicking in now.
I was thinking about that too, but I was like, I got this. I got one more meeting after this. I was like, okay, it's cool to talk about res days. And then after this, we're jumping into an environmental discussion, which everyone should be part of for our week pacing, week of action for the Earth, for Earth Day to kick off against climate chaos and keeping it fuels in the ground because fuck pipelines, fuck, fuck it all. And also, I got some awesome, cute Res Day stickers that came in. It's a shameless promotion. It's
No, no,
backwards, but
no.
they're
People
cute.
and people can tap in with you for those too.
So they're only promotional right now in the way of like if you buy a shirt on my website at fishbearstudios.com, I'm sending thank you stickers to everyone that helps support the dream.
Cool. That's what's up. I'm gonna have to get one of I want one of those shirts for sure.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. And I'm really excited. They came out pretty cool. So I was like,
I actually saw somebody sporting one on when I was watching people's stories last week.
that's so
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I think they live out in SF.
Yes. It's just such an honor to have like people trust me with stories and to get this type of workout, especially handing cultural stories. You got to be really cautious with people that don't understand these stories that are coming in from non-native communities to be like, "Oh, this is cool. What's it about?" "Oh, it doesn't relate to me." You need to make it more palatable. I don't like that they're cursing a lot. And that's like a real thing because there is a lot of, the internet is just like an open platform. So a lot of people do come in from different angles. And I'm like, well, there's the door. The story wasn't for you. And that's what Res Day is. I tell people, I'm like, hey, I don't want to see non natives cosplaying because that's cultural appropriation. I take this project very serious. I'm like, no, I don't want to see this. I didn't make this for anyone else but my native relatives.
And that's what it was. There's always like a little like poem that you have a caption with. Do you write those or?
Yeah, I'm trying my hand at story writing. I always loved writing, but never dialogue. I like to write short love stories, but dialogue is so different. But I feel like I hear these characters talk in my head, so I'm just like, this is how they'd respond in this situation.
I really like those. I really like you're really good. I really like it. I definitely like with the picture and like the words and everything going with it. It really like definitely you definitely like put the characters into on the res. You know, I'll put them on my res at least. You know, I mean, kicking it at the local kick it spot where everyone kicks it. You know what I mean? Hey.
For real, and I think that's like the coolest like experience about this is like practicing dialogue, like just seeing it build from a developmental stage. Because I feel like in large projects, they always keep the developmental stages till the end, like, oh, you could buy the art book. Whereas like this is such a social, engaging project that I'm so excited that people are wanting to engage with the developmental stages. Because right now we're at the point where we're just locking in final concepts and designs and the narrative timeline and where it's going to go as a story plot and all the side parts all the working parts of it, especially the writing. I'm actually working with a youth writer because I'm not that funny as a writer. Like comedic writing is so different than in real life. Just like, oh, that person's actually really funny.
Yeah, because I watch a lot of like comedian like comedy podcasts, and that's what they kind of say. It's like people can be really funny in like real life, but like to get up on a comedy platform and like be funny is really really hard.
Really hard because it's timing, punchline, and those are two things that I'm really bad at when it comes to writing. Because then it's like when they reference it back from like a starting joke and then close it out with that starting joke is so hard. I'm like, wow, they got that timing and punchline and memory down real good.
Yeah, and actually we got somebody in the comments that said Whoop Whoop got their Res Day shirt. What's up, Chanel? What's up, Anti Sage? How you guys doing? Yeah, so yeah, we got people sporting Res Day shirts already. So yeah, dope. I definitely want to grab one of those. I got Burn the Wagon shirts too. If you, I want to send you with your stickers too. So
Yeah. Whoop whoop. That's my sister Mia, my day one. I actually grew up in a three sister situation, so I'm so excited for the character concepts for the three sisters to release because corned bean and squash, sacred. My sister Mia, she was the squash in our life, so I'm very honored to have a three sister situation.
are they are they your real sisters?
Yeah, so my sister, I have a twin named Dawn. She's the older twin. Deborah Dawn and Jackie Fawn. I was like, cool, it's not first rhyming names. And then my sister Mia, Baby Cat 92. She's our older sister by like a few months. She was adopted, but we all grew up together and we were born in 92. So I was like, oh, we're all the same age. It's about to get real wicked in here.
Okay. Yeah, I was adopted from the first day I was born as well. But I my mom like raised me around my biological family. So like I never grew up like I always grew up around them.
Hell yeah, that's like the cool thing about like native communities. They're like, hey, like I'll help raise this kid, and they talk about that in Res Days as well as like community raising kids because you really can't do it you're on your own, especially when you got to carry the culture and the stories. Like you really need to have that community come through and just be like, hey, I see you're a struggling parent. Like I can help you in these ways, and I think that's awesome when you do get to see that practicing it.
No, yeah, it's and that's crazy because when I was back home, that's what I like. It's every, all the aunties, all the uncles, everyone takes care of everyone. Like it's it's such a family vibe. And I miss that. And I'm actually gonna be moving back to the res here in July. Um,
Woo woo, let the res call you home.
yeah, I'm stoked, and it's starting to move into emotion actually, and that's what I miss mostly is that it takes a like you said, it takes a village, and that I miss that vibe of like being around my cousins all day long, and just like, all right, what are we doing now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I just miss that, and like miss the res so much, and like seeing shit like that you post about like just the home, it's all kind of shit about the res. I miss it so much. but it's like it's weird because there's obviously the pros and there's the cons. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely the drug abuse, there's definitely the mental health issues, there is definitely domestic violence. So like it's
Yeah.
definitely, and like being 3 years sober, definitely like going back and seeing the addiction there is going to be like pretty like hard. But yeah, it's something I do really miss, and I do really want to be around my people right now because especially with doing this podcast, it's like I want to reconnect with everything I can.
And we have to, because that's our job now. Like one day we're gonna be elders, and they're gonna be like, "So, like, what'd you do?" I'm like, "Damn, I don't want to be sitting at 80. Like, damn, this 12-year-old just asked me, what did I do with my whole life?" And then I got to answer. So I'm like, that's what I think about all the time. How do I hold myself accountable for that next generation? I'm like, damn.
No, really, it's and like that's what I'm like kind of hoping with this podcast too is the next it sucks because the next generation is going to it's all online. It's all online thing like learning and all online everything is YouTube. So hopefully we can reach them through this and because they like to do the visual stuff. So like maybe they'll watch us talk to each other on the internet. Maybe they'll they won't come in person and talk to us. Maybe they'll watch us talk on the screen. You know what I mean?
And it's wild. The internet now compared to like being, I don't know, what was it, like 12? And just getting on like LimeWire for the first time and downloading stuff to now like I survive solely on Instagram and Facebook for work.
That's something I was talking to my cousin the other day. Like she came over and I remember the first song I downloaded on LimeWire was "Pop Lock It Drop It."
Oh man, that's a good one. I was a very big nerd and I downloaded all of my favorite soundtrack songs, opening songs to my favorite anime. So
Oh, okay, anime. Damn, they had everything on LimeWire. That's crazy.
everything with
You
some
know,
viruses here and there.
I had to sit through so many songs and like is this the right song? Like you have to listen to it in case it was just like some random like just like recording of some dude talking the whole time. This is a download.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many
Or
times
it'll
that
be a horrible like rip where it has like a bunch of credits at the end.
happened? Or like I had a couple times where like I would burn CDs and like not check the songs, and then it would just be a whole CD of just bullshit.
Oh man, I'm excited for Rezzy's come out with a mixtape because I have a selected playlist for the whole project. So I'm like, I'm gonna throw back to LimeWire and like our little CDs are like, hey, I like you. Do you want to listen to this crazy CD I made you?
And that's something that we were talking about too, like going from drawing on paper and then now like everything's on iPad or like everyone's doing things on iPad and stuff. Like what that's like. Is that like a trippy like transition?
It's so wild because I feel like when people are like, oh my God, I'm going to go to Jackie Fawn's art studio, it's a very big letdown. Because I'm a digital artist. So it's like there's a lot of books for resources, references. I have like my certain selected stacks of paper that I prefer to draw on. And then the table, which is like my stand up desk that is also, that houses my beautiful drawing computer. I have a Surface Pro desktop, which is this giant, I don't even know what size it is, but it's ginormous, and you can draw straight onto it, and it's touchscreen, but it's also a desktop, so it's got this beautiful integration. And since it's made by Windows, I'm a Windows person. I'm sorry, Apple World, I do not invest. I do have an iPad, but I use it rarely. But my computer desktop is just so interactive and it's just like so clean and it swivels, so it's just like a giant iPad, but Windows.
I mean, whatever works. You're out here killing the game, so it doesn't matter what you're using. You're killing it.
And it's hard sometimes, like culturally, because people are like, oh, you're a native artist. Like, what? I'm like, digital, bro. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like they always are expecting some like, wow, like, ooh, what does she do? I'm like, I do digital art.
And I like the abalone with the sage in it. I like that on the Res Day logo.
Yeah, I always got to shout out to that because the medicine, I'm like, man, yes, I always feel like, dang, when you're rolling up in the car and you pull out of this in your dashboard, like, get the sage, bro, and just shove it back in my car. But
I actually
no, I think it's really important to show that because people are like, oh, what's this about? I'm like, you see that medicine right there? It's a medicine story.
I actually gotta. I literally burned the last piece of my sage just now. I gotta pick some more.
Nice, you pick your own sage?
Yeah, my friend's mom, she has a little plant on her property. I go out there and pick some every once in a while.
That's beautiful. We're gonna go sweetgrass harvesting this year. So when we do our first release of Res Days for all the people that purchase like the physical copy, because there will be an online copy or an online version, but the physical copy will come out with exclusive posters, exclusive stickers, and I'm very into mini sweetgrass braids for emergency prayers when you don't have any medicine on you. Just bust it out of your back pocket or your wallet and throw it into the fire. But we'll be doing little sweetgrass braids for all our supporters and believers.
That's what's up. And you know when do you have a release date for that?
We are gonna do our first zine release for like just for everyone that supported. We're gonna start with the art book first, so everyone can know what this is about. Because I think art books and doing the very first stages is awesome. Because then people can get pulled into the dream, can get pulled into my little res world, and just really get to know the characters before we do the story. But we're definitely going to start debuting stories probably end of summer, early fall, when we release our coloring book, Colors of the Land, which is a roughly 50-page coloring book on indigenous-led movements that have been more recent, because I think that's also important to showcase our all these movements that are happening, but through educational ways and through a comic book. I think who doesn't want a cool visual graphic that's very, I guess people say, I've heard people say, use the term like nostalgic, or it just gives you like these feelings like, wow, I feel like I've lived that experience. So I'm excited for that.
I feel like comic book and stuff like that, especially with Marvel and stuff, it's like a really hot, like it's like a popular thing right now. Like that comic.
I'm actually not a fan of like superhero comics,
That's
which
what
is
I was
like
gonna.
such a letdown
That's
for a
what I was
lot of
gonna ask you.
people. Because for me personally, view superhero comics like mainstream comics. I like underground stuff and indie comics, but main superheroes like Marvel and DC, they're so propaganda that it just like derails so many people's belief of like what we need to be doing. Like Batman, he's a capitalist. He hates Poison Ivy, who's like, I'm just trying to save the world. Mr. Freeze, like, the world's hot. I just want a colder world by 2 degrees. Batman's like, no, I work with the police. Fuck y'all. I was like, damn.
Batman's out here snitching on people.
Batman's a snitch. So I'm like, okay.
Batman
Ratman.
pitches, right?
And same with all the other ones across it. They all just like, I'm like, I never seen y'all in the res. I
Captain
mean, they might just for like to hit their quota, whatever, but
fucking Captain America ass.
not my Captain America.
Yeah, that's something I was gonna ask is if you're into any of that. Is there any native superheroes?
Oh my gosh, there's Tribal Force. I can't remember who worked on that. Check out Sean Biel and Dale DeForest. They're two of my favorite native artists right now that are doing like awesome comics. They got the Hero Twins comics. There's gosh, they have Ayla the Monster Slayer. There's so many cool native comics that are coming out that I'm so proud of, that I'm like, those are my friends. Like, I know them. They made that with Shoyo. She's one of my favorite California comic artists. She's so beautiful. Maria the Wolf. These are all amazing artists that we need to be supporting. Maria the Wolf, big shout out. I don't know how they're navigating the comic industry world because they've done comic covers for Marvel. And I'm like, wow, that's a very like pro white male dominated industry that I'm so like stoked to see Maria the Wolf just slaying.
She got in that bitch.
Just slaying him like whoa, we're up in there. And I'm like, I love romances, like historical romances and romantic comedies. So that's where I'm coming in with Res Days. I'm like, who needs some romance in their life?
And that's another thing we're talking about too is some res musicians like pop artists and stuff like. We need to find more of that in our for our community, and I found a couple. I'm trying to discover just as many native, like I've been into native like rappers a lot right now,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm trying to get like spread. I'm also just trying to spread my like horizons in music because it's like
Yes.
from been pretty much just rap and like reggae for
Big
like this.
Wind River, who's in the comments right now, beautiful musician, and I don't even know what to call their genre of music, but like booty bumping frontline music for all the warriors to get down. They've got some Seize the Means, such a beautiful song they just came out with. Incredible two-spirit frontline artist. But I am craving native pop music, native lo-fi to do some chill work too. Yeah,
Yo,
I
that
just
would be
want
dope.
more. I want native everything.
That would be really sick. It's some native lo-fi. My cousin he did a beat. It was like they sang some songs, like some prayer songs and stuff, and then he put like a cool like a hip hop beat behind it. I'll see if I can send it to you. It's pretty dope. And that's like the shit I'm digging too, is like just anything that has like a native little vibe to it, and it's made by a native artist, obviously, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anything native, I'm pretty much trying to like support and find and like listen to.
Yeah, gosh, I feel like there's so many out there. I'm just like, how can we just see it all in like one giant like genre list? Like, oh, they're working in that genre. I need to listen to that today. Like,
Yeah,
ooh.
that's true. I need to like, cause right, like I said, it's just reggae and rap. So I need to like,
Especially like in sort and like finding them, like how there's so many different musical platforms. I only know like the major ones, which is my bad. I'm sorry. I don't know how to manage multiple accounts of like to listen to music. I just got back into SoundCloud. Like, yeah, I remember all my favorite playlists now.
yeah, I just go Spotify. Spotify is pretty easy. And Instagram is like a big thing that I find everything through, to be honest. I know it sucks to have to like use like these social media platforms, which are like kind of like it like sucks my time and it's like it sucks everything out of me sometimes. But like, cause I'm doom scrolling sometimes. But like, yeah, I do find a lot of cool stuff through Instagram, and like a lot of like I wouldn't have find any of these artists or any of these that like a lot of these the earrings that I have are I order them, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't have found a lot of this stuff if it wasn't through Instagram and stuff. So like it's a tool that like you have to use in the right way, you know what I mean?
And that's what I think is like the hardest part about these platforms and just the internet in general is like using these tools in the right way because it does get wild in like in the terms of like how people do use them for not really nice things. And then it's like, dang, we got to filter through all these messiness to find like I found them. I found my cousin.
TikTok is a wild place. That place
I
just
had to
gets
delete it.
that place gets fucking racist. That place gets homophobic. It gets everything. Like I can't go on there sometimes just because like the comments are just like insanely mean, insanely like
The
it's
comments
just like
section is its own life force in TikTok, and I can't engage in that. I was like, this is just too painful.
like,
So I'm
like
like, I just deleted it.
I try to have my algorithm just like funny stuff, just like comedy, just like skits or just like dog videos because I don't want to like I don't want to go down the rabbit holes of the mean people like fucking just like it's nuts. Yeah.
hmm I'm mostly primarily just on Instagram and Facebook for my family that refuse to do Instagram.
Do you still do commissions?
Do what?
Do commissions?
I primarily live off commission. Res Day is right now just a passion project after I put my kid to sleep. I've been applying for micro artist grants and larger grants to get funding to spend more time with it. So commissions is mostly where I live, and I mostly do commission work through health health organizations. Sakui is my current organization I work with, which is the California Consortium of Urban Indian Health, that does work with harm reduction and domestic violence cases in native spaces. So it's been one of my biggest teachers in teaching me and holding space through art when it comes to these situations, especially as native people, because there still are people after these fallouts happen, and like how do you bring those people back into space, into community, you know? So it's like we have those conversations, and it's really like I given life to my work because I can't do these issues. I can't cover this kind of topics through my art without having like worked in it. So it's been, I always throw out, "What's up, Sakui?"
And do they have Instagram or anything? Can people find them through anything?
They do. On my Jackie Fawn art page, there's some of my major like illustration works that more my recent ones that I've done. So just CCUIH. And they're a really cool health org out of the Bay Area, and really cool educational resource to have for like health work.
That's amazing. And you know what's crazy? I didn't realize like until recently how much of the Bay has a native population. It's
Yeah, urban native life is so incredible. It's so different. And I feel like there's that divide where people are like, "Oh, you're a city native. Oh, you're a res native." And I'm just like, man, we can do it all. It's all res land. It's all native land. It's like travel. Go see who all your sisters and cousins are in the city, and then come home or stay. Do what you want, but always remember, you gotta carry the culture for the people, because it's for whatever we do. It's for those kids that are gonna take the walks after us. So
yeah, and that's what I'm kind of like. You know, like I left the res. I've been gone for 10 years. I did my thing. I like, partied for a little bit too hard for a little bit. I was acting real rezzed out here, you know what I mean? Like for a little bit too long. But now I'm like, all right, it's time to settle down and like go back to the res and see like, what it was like. 'Cause like I didn't like when I was there, I partied like way too hard, was running around doing crazy shit. And now I'm a little bit older and I'm like, okay, like I'm in a sober state of mind, sober place. So maybe I can go back and do things a little bit differently.
for sure, I feel that like when I was like real rugged, but settle down, have that baby. But I married into my husband's res, so it's so different because I do want to carry myself in a better way to come into this community, because it's not my community I grew up with, and I'm an outsider, but I'm still native. So it's definitely a different learning experience, and literally marrying into the land. I'm like, I'm married into here because it's different territory, different culture, but it's like I feel honored to be part of the Haudenosaunee territory and just be a salmon up in Haudenosaunee lands. Like, hi, I'm just a little salmon.
That's so funny. I love it. Yeah, salmon. I'm not, I need to expand my palate in my food as well because fish I'm not big on. Because like we're river people, like my tribe is Padaha river people, and like
Start
I'm
with eel. Start with eel. Eel will
really
bring you in. If you get smoked eel, it tastes like bacon. It's incredible. Smoked eel, it's a gateway drug into fish.
my mom talks so much crap to me. She's like, I love it. Why do you hate it? And she's sitting there eating like some kelp. Like I don't know if you've ever had that where it's like dried out and it's just the saltiest thing I've ever eaten in my life. Like
It's
and she's
salty.
sucking on it. She's just sucking on it. It's just like, how are you eating that? It's just the saltiest. Like I can't do it. But I do
See,
like
my
how
messy butters, my crown knows eel is the gateway in. If you're new and trying to expand that palate, eel, change your life.
okay, I definitely need to extend my palate a little bit more. I have had abalone. The ab is bomb as fuck. My mom made it with like fried chicken style. That shit was so
Ooh.
good. With some like
Shell is different. Shellfish is way different than fish. That's for sure. Texturally, you got to be on point with that if you're a texture person. But I'm
yeah.
I'm pro. I'm pro all that ocean life.
Yeah, I need to expand a little bit. I definitely want to learn how to like. Well, you can't go out and get any ab right now, but I definitely think it would be cool to like learn a little bit more like fishing stuff and like stuff like that. Was there any topics that I didn't really go over the questions, but like we're almost out of time here. But is there any topics that I didn't bring up that you want to kind of bring up and let people know about, or any future projects that you're working on that people should know about, or the website again that people can get your shirts and stuff like that?
FishBearStudios.com. Res Days. They got some cool. I got some cool shirts there. Get a shirt, support. It's gonna be beautiful because once it gets out there, you be like, I was a day one. Like, yes, you were. Cause I do see it, and I'm so grateful and thankful for everyone that does support. And to all those young artists out there, keep going. Do not give up. Do not compare yourself to artists. Just enjoy the art that you do love, especially appreciate all the artists that influence you. And if they do influence you, practice the parts that you found enjoyable of that style or of that genre of art. And just keep going. You know, your art will build and grow and become its own organic style over time. Just trust the process. It's scary, but just trust it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jackie. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking your truth and telling us about Res Days, getting all rezzy, talking about Res stuff, everything Res. I'm gonna say Res one more time. Yeah, just thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I hope you have a amazing reconnection with your husband, your hubby tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a great day.
All right, I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, cool. Thank you. Peace. All right, thank you guys so much for joining the live today. Amazing artist Jackie Fawn. Follow everything they're doing with that. Again, Fish Bear Studios, Jackie Fawn, Res Days. Follow those pages. If you have anybody that wants to come join me on this podcast, definitely tap in with me. That'll be amazing. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Remember to be a good ancestor and protect the generations that are coming after us. Protect Mother Earth and protect your elders. Peace and love, everyone.